guys, I wanted to do a super quick video this morning about journaling. Now I know that this is what we're doing is journaling, but this is like a visual journal. So on our third week, every third week of our monthly challenge, Mixed Media Challenge, I want to introduce an element of journaling, like real writing, because I think it's fun to combine words and media and pictures and visuals and all this kind of great visual manner. So how do you do it? How do you add words into your journal? I have to say that I've been on this journey for a while now, and I have gone through every single pen that is known to mankind. I have to say this, I started out with Sharpies. I think we all started out with Sharpies. I don't like Sharpies. I don't even buy Sharpies. I don't go near Sharpies. I don't like how they show up. I don't like that they get sucked dry in a heartbeat. You put all this money in and they're just sucked dry. So I have put a lot of time, energy, and effort into finding pens that I like. And I just want to share those with you quickly. For here, I've got this black. My go-to pen at this point now is called a Foodball. F-U-D-E-B-A-L-L. And this has a nice, where are you? A nice big, it's not fine. It really does kind of lay in thick and quick. So I like that for journaling. It will write over anything. It is a workhorse. I love it. As soon as I break into a new pack, I order a new pack because I use them every day. So that's my black go-to pen. I also love a fountain pen. So this is, I don't spend a lot on fountain pens because you can see it's got paint all over it. So it's just got a cartridge that I can't do it for you because this still has ink in it, but you just get these all off of Amazon. You just plop it in there, give it a little bit of a squeeze, throw it back in here, and you've got this this pen that will do detail, and it's permanent once it dries. It does not reactivate once it dries. So if I use this, I have to let it sit. I have to let it fully dry before I go back in and put another layer on. What I mean by reactivate is a lot of times there'll be mediums that you will put them down and then you put another layer on, and they're always wet. No matter what you do, if you do paint, if you do anything, it's wet. It's a wet medium that can cause a reactivation of the layers below. I tend to not like that. I tend to like to have a layer sit, and then to build and build and build and build. I tend not to like the reactivation process. Now, there are some folks that just enjoy that to no end. I don't. That kind of, if I put something down, I want it to stay there. This was done with the fountain pen. You see how that's just got finer details. The Foodball will not go in with this kind of detail like that's in here. It's just a very fine little point. So I like that. Okay, my white go-to pen is a Posca pen. It's by Uni. I get them off of Uni. I don't know how you say that. I get it off of Amazon. Again, once I open a pack, I order another pack because this is my go-to pen. For years and years, I tried to make it work with whiteout. The whiteout marker pens that you could white out with. You know what, it's just these work. They're great, they're dependable, they're reliable, they don't splatter, they're just lovely. So this is just the fruits of my search for pens. Now that's a very broad tip, like the Foodball. These two are very broad. So what do I use for a fine tip? Well, that's my Signo Jelly Roll. That's what I will use for, you can't really see it, it says that in here, Signo Jelly Roll. That's my fine white that I will use. So I have my broader markers and I have my fine points that between the two of these, I get all of my journaling needs taken care of. There is another pencil that is just fabulous. This is called the Stabilo All Pencil, A-L-L. Where are you? Can you see that? The Stabilo All Pencil. This will write over anything, over everything. It's great to just come back in and put shadows in at the end when you just want to make something pop. It's activated by water. So I love this for details at the very end. Okay, so how do you journal? What do you do? So I'm just going to go through some of my different journals and how I lay in. So here, I want to show you that I tore off a little piece of paper. These little brad guys here, these are just here for decoration. They're not going through the page because you would see them on this side and you don't. So I just took this little piece of paper, put these little cuties in there and then glued this down and glued it on. So here I just left spaces in my composition to journal on. So this book is really about pens, what kind of different pens I used. This is the food ball over here, and this is the fine point of that fountain pen. Okay, so let's just go down a little bit. This is the white of the Posca pen. You see, it just really covers everything. It just gets in there and gets the job done. So this is this one that I did. Sometimes I don't want to lay in my words. This one speaks to me on so many different levels, and I sort of publish out my work on a lot of different platforms. Rather than have my words in here that it's committed to one message, I did not put it in. So what I do then is I take a picture, I upload it to Photoshop, to different apps, photo apps, manipulate it, play with it, and drop my text in on the side, so that then this becomes something that I can use again and again with a different message. So you might see this one online, and it has a verse over here about like breathe in the goodness of God and breathe out the anxiety, something to that effect. I can use that again in some other way. So Photoshop, applications, you can manipulate, take a picture of it. I do it with my iPhone. I don't have fancy equipment. Like, I just have fun. Okay, so here on this one, what I did was I planned this one to have a lot of journaling in it. So as I was going through, I gessoed out. Remember that gesso is a white medium that you use when you buy a canvas pre-stretch on a, from like Michael's or whatever. That white stuff that's on the canvas, that it's primed, that's primed with gesso. It becomes a tooth for anything to come down on, so to be laid down on top of it. So here I've just kind of gessoed out. You see how it's kind of faded? I just sort of went in, did what I wanted to do, and then came back in and put just a very thin layer of gesso over it. I didn't want to cover everything. So this is just watered down gesso so that I could write the things that I wanted to write over it. So there you have it. So this was the food ball. See how it's just a nice thick kind of pen. I just love it. I just love it. Okay, so then also this is with the fountain pen. This is the food ball here, this writing. I wanted to show you this one. This was done exclusively with the fountain pen, and I can't tell you how much I love my fountain pen. I love the detail it offers. I love the control that it offers. It just looks old-fashioned. I feel old-fashioned using it. It looks old-fashioned to me, so I love my fountain pen. Love, love, love. And I know it's a scary thing to kind of break out into a fountain pen. It's so not. Just get the cartridges, plop them in there, and get going. So, okay, so this is all about different pens. Okay, so that's the end of that journal for now. Now I want to talk to you about, which way do I go? This way. I wanted to talk to you about inserts. So here, let me get this on here really well. You can see that I have inserts. So what I do with these is that this is just loaded in. So I decorated it to look sort of like the background. Let me get myself settled here. Okay, so I have it in where it's sort of matching the background, and then I just washi taped it in, and then it becomes another place where I could journal. Here I've got, this was just laid in with just a piece of paper, decorated, journaled over, and then this is all the food ball around it. Just the different names of God. Now I could have gone in and put it in white, because it's hard to see, like it sort of fades into the background. But I felt like I didn't want it to become that distracting. I sort of wanted it to all be about Elohim, and so different things, different ways to journal. This is a piece of deli paper that I pulled, and I just journaled on it. Here's another, like this week, I don't know, I had a lot of thoughts going on. So this is a piece of scrap paper pulled out, journaled on. This is all white back here with the Uniball, this Jelly Roll pen. You see that's just finer. So where you see thick white, that's the Posca white. Fine white is the Jelly Roll. So here I just have more inserts. the scripture laid out because I want it to pop, you know. I glue down just regular old Elmer's glue. If you glue it down, put your paper down, face down, put some glue on it, put it down on your page, and then just take a hotel key card and sort of just get all of your bubbles and all of that out of there, and it will stay down. And that Elmer's glue dries matte, so you don't even realize it, see it, notice it, and it works just fine. You don't have to spend a fortune on great big heavy, glue. Okay, so this one you can see this is the Uniball, the jelly roll. You see how it's just finer. And it has, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. So you see how it's got just, you can see the fine details in the lettering. So that's what that one looks like. Okay, this one I just took out letters, cut them out, and then cut out one letter thin, and then on like scrapbook paper, cut out its outline in a bigger bubble, and then just put them down together and outline them. And that became a way to insert words into my journals. This one was really fun. The idea behind this one was Job had just lost everything, and not once throughout this did Job sin. He said nothing against God. So this is the forlorn that I can only imagine that Job reaches, and he just falls to his knees. He just lost absolutely everything. And then I have this page sort of in there because I believe that when we are in this state, God's never closer to us than when we are here. He comes close to the brokenhearted. And I believe that there are angel armies that he sends out there. But you see, this paper is very, very thin. It's not a thick paper because there's a veil that we can't see. We don't realize or see that dimension that's there. So I didn't want it to be thick, real. I wanted it to be sort of this transparent kind of layer that's just barely there. So thus I put in the deli paper that I pulled with a jelly roll. God's glory always pushes back the darkness, and that was what this page represented. God's there. God is so there. So put it in with washi tape. This is done with that white, I want to not have a glare on it. This is done with that white jelly roll pen. Very fine details. So here is, again, just glued on. Job's wife said, curse God and die. Glued on white paint pen. Here you can see those letters a little bit better. It's that middle layer cut out, colored in, and then the outer layer, you just put them on top of each other, and then you can insert in as many words as you want. Okay, and looking at the inserts, you see that this was a big insert that I put in. See how you can see the washi tape sort of right there? This was when we found out that my dad was going to be passing away. The final journey home, his end is really his beginning. So this was again a lot that I just had to download it into my journal. So you can put big inserts in as well. I've had questions about my tabs, so you can see them all here. I have a I'm just grabbing it, hold on. I have a tab that I just do them on, and then I cut out contact paper and just put them on there. So you can see here that there's that sort of like rounded piece of contact paper. So if I just cut out a tab, cut out a tab, cut out a circle, cut out a circle, I can sandwich that on there. And then this became just a monthly journal. I do like Moleskine journals. This is a Moleskine yearly from last year. This is my last year's journal. They are really one of my favorite journals. When you pick them up, the paper is going to feel so thin. But I tell you what, it is a workhorse, and it holds up under anything. So let me just get that. So this journal really does look at different kinds of pens that we can use. See here, you've got lots of papers glued down, and then the journaling on top. Journaling, if I have a dark area, I can go in with my white pen. So you see, a lot of times I do use that gluing on something so that you can journal over it. So this one is about this one's not so much about pens as it is about different ways that you can insert words into your journal. Okay, so we are on the final one. This, as you know, is my spread for this month. And what I've done is, let me come over here, is that I have my words put in over here. So for the prompt is, what is something that you enjoy doing with your mother? What is something you enjoyed doing with your mother? If there's not a mother figure in your life, what is something that you have enjoyed with somebody that has that role, grandmother, aunt, sister? What is something what is a memory that you two enjoyed doing together? So for me, the first one that I have is shopping, and I just put that in really quick. I did that with the Signo Jelly Roll. Just kind of went in really quick just to show you that I have it journaled in on my end here. I don't know what else I'll do. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to put in how I'm big about those paper bags being put in, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I could still put more in, because we've got a whole week to laid in. We've got a whole week to figure out how we're going to journal it in. So that's the challenge for this week, is journaling into your journal. I look forward to seeing everybody's. Please remember that I have a creative community, praiseheart.ning.com. It's always in the comment section. Please join it's a free creative community where we do all sorts of stuff like this with a lot of different people. I've got Facebook groups where you can join the community and become part of the fun. But part of this process is sharing your work and walking it out together and learning from each other. We have so much that we can learn from each other. So that is all I've got for this week. You are released to your challenge for this week. Have a super day. Bye-bye.